Harry's wife 101.44. Archbishop Bash. It would appear that Harry's wife has pissed off God. Not necessarily a clever thing to do, because one of his representatives on the planet appears to have taken a swipe at Harry's wife, and also the Prince of Pink Pancakes. What's been going on? Well, unsurprisingly, it relates, of course, to the recent funeral events. And RadarOnline.com leads with this tale. Archbishop of Canterbury accused of staring at Harry's wife, as he takes swipe at those who cling to power and privileges in poignant sermon. The article by Samantha Bennett tells us, Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, has been accused of criticising Prince Harry and Harry's wife during his poignant sermon, RadarOnline.com has learned. Welby said the late Queen Elizabeth had touched a multitude of lives and will be deemed a joyful figure during her state funeral in Westminster Abbey on Monday, sharing messages about the life she lived as well as the legacy she will leave behind. Leaders of loving service are still rarer, he continued, singing Elizabeth's praises, before making the remark some have speculated was a dig at the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Welby went on. But in all cases, those who serve will be loved and remembered when those who cling to power and privileges are long forgotten. Footage appeared to show him looking close to where Harry and his wife were sitting behind the royal's dad, King Charles III, as they bid farewell to Her Majesty. Some viewers were convinced Welby was calling out the couple, who have been very vocal about their controversial decision to step away from royal life, as they continue to come forward with shocking claims about the mistreatment they allegedly faced. On the other hand, some viewers expressed how that part of his sermon could be directed toward other members of the congregation, including other world leaders. How do you know where he was looking? You have no idea, one person tweeted as a debate took place on Twitter. I would suggest that if you were watching where he was looking when it was televised, that would give you a fairly good idea of where he was looking. Not too difficult a concept to grasp, though I suspect that tweet came from a sugar lump. Insiders told RadarOnline.com that Harry has made it clear that he will not cancel his upcoming tell-all potato print book, but will update it to include the passing of his grandmother, which could impact the dynamic he has with the royal brood going forward. The book is the key to Harry's future in the family. Well-placed sources claimed if the book goes away, Harry will be back in with the family. However, if the book is published, trust will be permanently damaged, and he will never again be welcomed into the new king's inner circle. As the Archbishop spoke to nearly 2,000 people inside the venue and millions around the world, he said, few leaders receiving the outpouring of love we have seen in comparison to Elizabeth. Welby added, may God heal their sorrow, and may the gap left in their lives be marked with memories of joy and life. The Western Journal, with an article by Matthew Holloway, poses a question. Did the Archbishop shade Harry and Harry's wife in Queen's funeral sermon while looking directly at them? As the formal proceedings surrounding the death and funeral of Queen Elizabeth II have cast a harsh spotlight on the strife and division within the British royal family, the Monday funeral itself of the late monarch and remarks of the Archbishop of Canterbury may have revealed a rare rebuke from the religious leader. On Monday, Archbishop Justin Welby delivered a short sermon at the Queen's state funeral, during which he made remarks in what some have characterised as throwing shade. Welby told the nation in his sermon, people of loving service are rare in any walk of life. Leaders of loving service are still rarer, but in all cases, those who serve will be loved and remembered when those who cling to power and privileges are long forgotten. The New York Post reported, footage of the sermon appears to show him staring intently towards the section of Westminster Abbey where Harry and his wife were sitting, behind Harry's dad, King Charles III. Other royal watchers have described the remarks as criticism aimed at either Prince Harry and Harry's wife, the Duchess of Sussex, or former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, depending on the politics of the commenter. According to UK publication The Mirror, multiple Twitter users weighed in with various theories. One user wrote, "Is it me, or did the Archbishop of Canterbury just have a dig at Boris Johnson in his address at the Abbey?" Phantom Power, a Scottish nationalist YouTube channel, presented edited footage that smash-cut a shot of Johnson during the remarks. However, careful examination of the footage from multiple sources, such as Sky News and the BBC, showed Welby looking clearly to his left, toward the royal family, and not toward Johnson, who is seated further to the Archbishop's right. Some commentators have suggested that Welby directed his statement at the many world leaders present at the funeral, and even some, such as Russian President Vladimir Putin, as the Mirror reported, who were not. MSNBC's Natasha Noman even suggested that the Anglican leader was condemning the likes of Trump. My goodness me, what far-reaching comments Archbishop Welby has. Fucking everybody's being told. While it's incredibly easy to ascribe Welby's stern word to whomever someone's social-political axe to grind requires, in the moment, there at Westminster Abbey, surrounded by the most powerful men and women in the United Kingdom, Archbishop Justin Welby looked to his left toward the royal family and said, "Those who cling to power and privilege will long be forgotten." In Welby's sightline sat King Charles III, whom he had moments prior complimented, saying, "I know His Majesty shares the same faith and hope in Jesus Christ as his mother, the same sense of service and duty." Just beyond him sat Prince Harry and Harry's wife, the Duchess of Sussex, who in words, both written and spoken, had publicly spurned the royal family and the monarchy, causing great strife and embarrassment to them. This is a well-reasoned article that goes to the evidence of what was said, who was there, and where he was actually looking. And, as he said that, he looked to his left at the royal family. He could be looking at Charles, but he just complimented him, and therefore it suggests that the remark was directed at the Sussexes. Now, of course, it's also worth keeping in mind, of course, that Justin Welby does have a little bit of a complaint about the gruesome twosome. The Guardian, in an article back in March 2021, reported, "The Archbishop of Canterbury has addressed for the first time the claim made by the Duchess of Sussex that she and Prince Harry got married 3 days before the royal wedding. During her tell-all interview with Oprah Winfrey, broadcast earlier this month, Harry's wife said the pair had the secret marriage ceremony with the Archbishop Justin Welby in their backyard. The Duchess said nobody knew the couple had shared personal vows for just the two of us ahead of their wedding day in Windsor on Saturday the 19th of May 2018. However, it was thought this could not have been a legal ceremony, as it lacked witnesses and a registered venue, and instead was likely just to have been an informal exchange of vows." In an interview with the Italian newspaper La Repubblica, Welby was asked about what happened. He said, "The legal wedding took place on the Saturday," adding, "but I won't say what happened at any other meetings." The Archbishop told the paper, "If any of you ever talk to a priest, you expect them to keep that talk confidential. Doesn't matter who I'm talking to. I had a number of private and pastoral meetings with the Duke and Duchess before the wedding. The legal wedding was on the Saturday. I signed the wedding certificate, which is a legal document, and I would have committed a serious criminal offence if I signed it knowing it was false." During the interview, Harry's wife had told Winfrey, "You know, 3 days before our wedding, we got married. No one knows that. But we called the Archbishop and we just said, look, this spectacle is for the world, but we want our union between us." She said the vows they have framed are just the two of us in our backyard with the Archbishop of Canterbury. Both Harry and Harry's wife said it was just the three of us. Of course, that was a lie. And another revision of history coming from the Duchess of Delusion, which was set straight by Justin Welby. And therefore he's going to be singularly unimpressed by such conduct, which essentially tried to suggest that he'd engage in a criminal act, and therefore, quite rightfully, he wouldn't be best pleased with the gruesome twosome. Moreover, of course, he has witnessed their behaviour with regard to their conduct towards the Queen, and again, like many right-minded people, has been unimpressed by that. Accordingly, it stacks up. It's highly likely that the comment that he made did indeed, as some would say, throw shade towards Harry and Harry's wife. It takes something if you're starting to piss off the Archbishop of Canterbury. The fact is, that was challenge fuel. The remark was directed towards Harry and Harry's wife. Because it was about Harry's wife, that's fuel, but it challenged her by suggesting that she will be forgotten because she seeks to cling to power and privilege when she ought not to. This was a useful diss by the Archbishop of Canterbury that was seen by many people, and despite those who support Harry's wife attempting to suggest that it couldn't have been directed at her, if we go to the evidence, something which the Sugar Lumps are not fond of doing, it supports that indeed he did criticise her and Harry, and that would have been challenge fuel and a threat to control. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.